Is it still called momentum considering that all characters technically simultaneously have the same and no mass at all? Is it called velocity? Fuck it, roll the intro. Welcome to the second tutorial in the Overwatch Arithmetic series with Antarios, the video series that tackles numbers in Overwatch and how you can apply them to improve. This video will cover more information about movement. We will also talk about damage later on. According to the laws of physics, what is moving will stay moving and what isn't moving will start to move if it gets smacked the fuck up. Overwatch may be a video game, but it has some semblance of physics despite also featuring a literal cyborg ninja with the ability to double jump and climb walls like a cockroach. It is possible to categorize movement abilities into three types. 1. Those that increase a hero's velocity by a variable amount given a set time. 2. Those that place a hero at a set point in space by manipulating the velocity of the character. And those that literally make the hero disappear before appearing in the new location. Examples of the first include Reinhardt's Charge, Doomfist's Rocket Punch, Reaper's Wraith Form, Soldier's Sprint and Sombra's Thermoptic Camo. Abilities under this category are affected by speed modifiers such as Lucio's Speed Boost and May Freeze. D.Va's boosters are also in this category, however they are not affected by Lucio's Speed Boost. Technically, Moira's Fade ability falls under this category as well, but we'll talk about it more later. The second category includes Genji's Swift Strike, Trace's Blink, McCree's Combat Roll, Widowmaker's Grapple Hook and Mercy's Guardian Angel ability. Abilities under this category cover a set distance at a set speed regardless of any changes to a character's default speed. Genji will always cover 14 meters, McCree will cover 6 meters, and Tracer will always cover 7.5 meters per blink. Widowmaker and Mercy will cover the distance solely dependent on how far the target is. The third and final category includes Trace's Recall, Reaper's Shadowstep, Sombra's Translocator, and, once again, Moira's fucking weird-ass Fade ability. We'll put Moira in a fucking corner first while I explain this category. These abilities remove the hero from existence for a brief moment while they travel to the new destination. They cannot be targeted during the disappearance and they are invulnerable for a very short period of time. The window is very small, but with some luck and skill, one can pull off some sexy dodges. During the disappearance, status effects may or may not be removed. It's not uniform, really. Trace's Recall removes all status effects and Discord orbs. Reaper's Shadowstep only purges Venom, Mind Poison and nothing else. Sombra's Translocator only purges Venom, Mine and Discord Orb. Now back to Moira's special ass. Fade behaves like the first category. It is affected by speed modifiers. However, it is also part of the third category since she fucking disappears into the abyss for a moment. She is invulnerable during this time and this ability also purges all status effects. That's right. May Freeze. Reset. Venom Mine. Gone. Discord Orb lost from the iris. Purple Piss Jar. Pissed off. Fucking hell. Before we move on to the next topic within movement, I would like to address that some abilities carry over the momentum for a brief moment after the action has been accomplished. By how much? Well, you must be wondering where all the math went in this episode, because here it is. In order to figure out the bonus distance covered by an ability who takes advantage of carried over momentum, we first need to find a plausible way to measure distance. Originally, I was planning to do all my testing in the training grounds, however the lengths covered by these abilities exceed the amount of floor I would be able to work with. So I had to improvise. Hanamura, despite how much I hate playing a match in this place, makes for a great testing ground for various interests, distance being our current concern in this episode. to remind you, nearly all characters move at 5.5 meters per second. So assuming I am walking as straight as fucking possible from one point to another, the length of this stretch is 55 meters long. With a bit of rewatching and math involved, these are the values of each quote-unquote checkpoint along this runway. However, Overwatch Gamepedia indicates that a Reinhardt charge covers 55 meters in distance. Based on experience, a Reinhardt does not charge from the start of this stretch all the way to the railing. Either one of us is wrong, or the staircase is ain't that much distance away from the charge. Regardless, we're still going to push through with using this runway because it is still straighter than Trace's love life. We shall just do some sorcery on the values we get out of testing. Reinhardt's charge goes from here to here by jumping just as the charge ends. He gets hit. Oh shit. By jumping just as the charge ends, he gets an approximate extra distance of 10.45 meters. This is a 23% increase in distance. Doomfist normally reaches 23 meters at maximum charge. 20.9 meters in this scenario because of the fucking stairs. With momentum carryover he goes to 22.1375 meters. A nearly 6% distance increase. Moira's Fade ability makes her go approximately 15 meters in a straight line. 15.95 meters here, because magic, 20.9 meters with carryover resulting in a 23% increase in distance. Mercy normally flies until she is immediately in front of her GA target. Momentum carryover slingshots the past her target by over 7.315 meters. Percentage increase is dependent on how far the target originally was. Speaking of slingshots, Widow can also pull off momentum carryover horizontally and vertically. Fuck calculating vertical and angular movement though. Maybe next time we'll cover it if I can figure out calculating arcs in a 3-dimensional space. Next topic is pushes and pulls, colloquially also known as boops and yoinks. Boops include Lucio's Soundwave, Junkrat's Concussive Mind, Doomfist's abilities, Pharah's Concussive Blast, Reinhardt's Charge that isn't a pin, and DVA's boosters. As long as you are within range of the boop, it doesn't matter if you are at the epicenter or at the edge of it. You'll get booped for the same amount of distance. What does matter is the boop's location with respect to the epicenter of the boop source. This affects boop angle. Only Junkrat and Lucio boops are affected by verticality. Furthermore, every explosive so far will have a slight boop ability. This includes Junkrat's and Zarya's grenades, Soldiers and Pharah's rockets, and D.Va's ultimate. Provided you can survive the blast. Also, slam abilities such as Winston's jump pack and D.Va's core mech ability also create slight boopage. Melee also grants a tiny bit of boop. Distance of all boops are affected by if the target is moving in midair or are rooted. In addition to this, boop stack. An example would be boosting into a target as DVA then immediately using melee after the ram has connected. Self-boops are possible, Pharah's Concussive Blast being the obvious example. In addition to that though, self-boopage is possible with explosive abilities that are self-harm. This creates what is known as rocket grenade jumping. This allows characters to get to places they were not originally designed to reach. It leads to a lot of nice surprises if you practice them enough. Pulls include Roadhog's Hook, Horus's Halt and Zarya's Graviton Surge. Unlike boops, a yoink is not affected by current velocity nor does it stack with other pulls. Interestingly, you cannot push an ulting Junkrat as he is rooted, but you can pull him. You can also hook a self-destruct, but you cannot halt it. Bonus information, but you can also flashbang and rocket punch the mecha to stop it. Keep in mind though that it still does ramming damage if the diva threw it. I mentioned rooting a while ago. There are only 3 rooting quote-unquote abilities in the game so far. This includes Horus's Fortify, which is the only true rooting ability, Junkrat while he is using his ultimate, which is a partial rooting ability, and Diva while she's shooting, which is the weakest of the rooting abilities. Rooting is basically one's immunity to CC and only CC, not damage. This is why I did not include May's Ice Block nor Reaper's Wraith form. Just look at Diva go. Now sweet baby Jesus, we are finally at the second part of our video, damage. Before I get into it, I must first explain hit points. There are 3 types of hit points. Regular health, which takes regular damage and does not regenerate, unless you're Mercy. Armor, which takes half damage but not more than 5 damage per hit. This means that a shot that normally does 5 damage will do 3 instead. A shot that would do 10 damage would do 5 instead. And a shot that would do 15 would do 10 instead. This means Oriza can survive a pulse bomb, but Zarya will not. The last type of HP is shields. Shields take regular damage but regenerate at a rate of 30 HPS after 3 seconds of the character not receiving any damage. Lucio Sound Barrier and Doomfist passive are considered shields, albeit short-term ones. EMP strips all enemies within range of their shields. This is considered damage. It's a great way to get Oriza achievement sprays if the enemy team has a Lucio. Additional information, but when a hero has both shields and armor, shields are the first to be depleted by incoming damage. This means that a hero takes full damage at first and then receives damage reduction once all shields have been depleted. This also means that in the event that you're running Symmetra Torbjorn were given enough time to set up a shield generator, your team would be the ultimate cancer setup, since the minimum HP everyone would have in your team would be 300, 25% of which is self-regenerating. Delicious cancer. Of course, just run a Sombra, EMP everything and then rush the point, problem solved. If people would stop getting upset over a Sombra pick, damage time. For some reason, all heroes do the same amount of damage with her melee excluding Reinhardt and Torb's hammers. A tiny Korean girl hits as hard as the mech she came from. What the fuck? Also, for some reason, melee attacks are considered projectile and have an AoE. You can hit several targets if you hit the right spot a swing while using melee. So if you're as Zarya and several things are stuck inside your graviton, don't only right-click them to death, add some melees in. I do not want to cover every single damage-dealing thing in the game because we would be here until I die. Instead we will cover the highest of each kind of damage. Instant burst damage definitely goes to McCree's Deadeye at 250 damage per second for 6 seconds, totaling at 1500 damage in one shot. Burst damage per regular shot goes to Widowmaker at 300 per headshot and Hanzo at 125 damage per body shot. Burst damage per ability usage goes to other Hanzo for his scatter arrow, because if all the arrows hit a single target it would do 450 damage. Reinhardt would win the one-shot burst damage per ability usage with charge, since it does 300 damage upon wall hit. Damage per clip goes to Bastion Sentry Mode at 4500 per clip. Although you could argue that Diva would win the per clip fight since she literally never has to reload. The strongest damaging ultimate while the ultimate is active would technically be Hanzo's ultimate, since it does 200 DPS while active. And it is active until it leaves the map. This is slow that they take ages to leave. Pretty sure that if there were actually people to get hit by it on the way, Hanzo would ramp up so much damage. If we're being serious about it. far as barrage winds out at 30 rockets per second with 40 damage per rocket at a duration of 3 seconds, totaling in 1200 damage per second or 3600 damage total. What are these values for? Well, let's say you're stuck in an enemy graviton surge with your team. Your healer, who I'm assuming isn't Mercy nor Lucio, has their ultimate to counter any damage that comes your way. Assuming that your team's supports aren't complete idiots and do not overlap their ultimates, the highest amount of healing you would receive would be 300 HPS courtesy of Zenyatta's ultimate. It ramps up to 450 HPS if an allied Ana threw a grenade into it. Fingers crossed the enemy team isn't running their own Ana who throws her own piss into the mix. You do not need to beat 450 HPS to kill targets while Transcendence is active. You only need to get equal or higher the total health of the target in DPS to kill them. This is why burst damage is so good at the moment. That coupled with Lucio's sound barrier being very hard to pull off ever since they made it so that he would lose his ultimate just from someone sneezing at him. An average minimum of 200 burst damage or over 300 DPS can be pulled off in several ways. Easiest would be to use an ultimate. Another way would be to use a regular one-shot ability. Zenyatta's right-click headshot is enough to kill someone as well. Or honestly just keep shooting the same target. If you have both a Junkrat and a Pharah, your team will do 240 DPS in one shot. If the enemy team is running tanks, you will likely need at least one burst damage ultimate to kill everyone, or one damage boosted damage over time ultimate, or 2 damage over time ultimates to do the job. Honestly, it would still make sense to shoot regular shots at the enemy team despite the Transcendence being active because 1. You might get lucky and kill someone who was too far to be healed. And 2. Zenyatta cannot gain ultimate charge while Transcendence is active, so you have an opportunity to farm ultimate charge while their healer cannot. Just remember that if you already have your ultimate, don't fucking do it. Bonus information, but Zarya's graviton does 5.5 damage per second while active. One last bit before I end this video. Winston's Tesla cannon does 60 DPS. Mercy heals 60 HPS. Go after the fucking Mercy instead of whatever she's healing, you potato scientist. We'll talk more about damage in the next video, together with aiming and exercises to improve such. Sources for the information may also be found in the description of this video. If you have any tutorial requests or questions or just want to say hi, leave a comment. That is it for this video. I will see you on the next one whenever it uploads because my internet sucks. Goodbye.